And I often say in the classes, there's a lot of people out there that are with quote unquote talk heads, right? But the receipts, right? They lack the receipts. There's a lot of people out there that's talking about getting some money. It's real typical stuff, right? You're getting some money. This is how you get rich. The get rich scheme and get you some money and all this kind of stuff. I don't talk about getting you some money. What I talk about is going to make you be complete and a conqueror in every area of your life. What I generally talk about, just in different aspects of life, is how to get your life back, right? Some people might say, what do you mean, how do I get my life back? Well, how to get a life back that's not predicated upon what America has taught you about yourself, told you about yourself, right? And how to get your original mind and your original life back. And not only how to get it back, but once you get it back, what it allows you to do in the country, what it allows you to do in your personal life. So what I do is I say it's not good enough for me just to talk to you about something, right? I got to show a lifestyle. I got to show the receipts that this information that I'm sharing with you is working, has worked, right? So it's worked for me when I was in the streets. It worked for me when I was doing politics. It's worked for me in my relationships, when I was in the game with 8 females, or when I got out of the game, been married 26 years. So knowing both ends of the spectrum and utilizing those fundamentals that I have learned over these 40 years and how it has benefited and worked for me. You know what I'm saying? So, how to maneuver, and it's not just how to maneuver, but what information you need to maneuver in life in order to have the objective that you want to have. So it's not good enough just to, let me see, what's some advice on becoming a successful entrepreneur? What steps, what routes should continue to accomplish in my goal? When people get to talking about money to me, I often let them know that the country will allow you to get some money. You know what I'm saying? But the country ain't going to allow you to conquer them, right? They don't mind giving people a couple of dollars, giving you a few little dollars and stuff, right? But you ain't going to never conquer this system. That's what I'm about. See, when you get to talking about stuff like that, people who just looking for some money be like, well, oh, that's a whole nother level. Yeah, it is a whole nother level, right? So we just encourage people, if that's where your focus is, then there's a whole bunch of people out there that's going to accommodate you about how to get you some money, right? But let me just share this with you. I did a class the other day, and the class was, this was Monday. This was my YouTube class. And I said that, what are you being prepared for? Right? And whatever you being prepared for, you accept in your life. Somebody might ask, well, what do you mean by what am I being prepared for? Yeah. What is the teaching that you're getting? What is that teaching preparing you for? Some people say, well, I'm in the real estate class, or I'm trying to get the bag over here. And so, so that's what you're being prepared for, right? You're prepared for how to get the bag, right? Somebody else might say, well, man, I'm out these streets, man. And, I got to make sure I keep my gangsters strong, right? So there's an environment that people, are developed into how to be a gangster, or how to be a rich man. And I say in the remnant, that's problematic. We looking at that like something real small, right? Somebody say, what you mean? You looking at a rich man, at something that's a wealthy billionaire, at something small? Absolutely, I'm looking at him very small. How about a killer and a gangster and all that? I'm looking at him small too. All that you being developed into being is too small. Anybody that come into the remnant, they already know from the gate, you developing, and what's being developed in you is how to be a conqueror. Now, there's a certain type of thing that it requires for you to be a gangster. You're in an environment, you're ready to stand on business. You're ready to take a life. You're ready. So there's a certain development that you have to be a gangster, right? And then as a wealthy man, there's a certain development that you have being a wealthy man. You got to learn the tax codes. You got to learn how to maneuver and how to be greasy. You got to learn how to take advantage of people, because a part of that is taking advantage of people. When you think about banking systems and corporations and things of that nature, they know how to take advantage of people, right? You got to understand and elevate the God of capitalism. It has to be the most important thing to you. So there's a way that you're developing to being that kind of individual. And when you come to the remnant, I say that's problematic, partner, right? I said, let me give you a perfect illustration. I said, there has been empires in the world, right? Right? And empires have conquered lands and peoples. This is what I've said, right? They conquer lands and people, right? So while one person is learning how to be a gangster, the next person is learning how to be a wealthy man, a rich man. I'm learning and teaching you how to be a conqueror. I'm about to turn a corner on you. Why is that significant? Because when the conqueror comes to a land, guess how many gangsters and wealthy people are in the land that he conquered? Guess how many gangsters and wealthy people are in the land that he conquered? The conqueror is above them all. And it takes a certain type of mindset, a certain thought process. You move a certain kind of way. Just like when you taught to be a gangster. Just like when you taught to be a wealthy man. It's too small for us. In my life, I operate as a conqueror. That's how I got police accountability done. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's a certain way that I was developed. There's a certain way that I think. And I look at the wealthy man too small. I look at the gangster too small and insignificant. Because when the conqueror comes to town, he conquers everything that's in the land. Y'all ain't ready for what I got to give you, man. You on that idiot? You don't let these white folks make you think that they got all the answers. They got you thinking, man, it's about this. It's about being wealthy. It's about being rich. They got you thinking all the wrong things. And so whatever you being prepared for, that's what you accept in your life. Do you understand? I said that statement from the beginning. Whatever you being developed and prepared for, that is exactly what you accept in your life. Do you understand? And this is why I discourage being developed and taught to being something that's only minuscule to a conqueror. And the conquering start in your personal life first. There's every area in my life that's been conquered. Every area has been conquered. I'm not saying that I didn't face challenges. I'm not saying that I didn't face pain and some agony. I'm saying, yeah, I faced pain, I faced challenges, but at the end of the day, the mind of the conqueror has conquered all of it, has conquered everything, right? So when you come to the remnant, you begin to understand why you don't move certain kind of ways. You might have a friend that's only trying to get the bag. He's going to move a certain way that you will not move. It's beneath you. Do you understand? So that's just a little bit. Just a little bit, right? Some of the things we talk about. And then I have the life to show, right? I've been in the game, overcame the streets. I've been to federal prison, overcame federal prison, right? They killed my little brother with police accountability. I came up to Seattle from LA and conquered this whole state and reached the heights of even the presidency, where the president had to contact with me, right? Conquered everybody in the state from the governor on down. This is not something I'm talking about. This is something that you could see. I've lived it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I know what I'm talking about. I'm not guessing my way through anything, right? So yeah, sometimes I might talk about the lifestyle and the game, right? Because while I was going through processes in my life when I was younger, there were things that I was on, it was on the game, I was in the game. So I'm talking about this game and females and how to deal with them, right? And then I was always talking about manhood. So I was leading with manhood. And then I was leading with the game. You see what I'm saying? So I talked about those things. You could look over my life. You could see I talked and I led and tried to give some information, right? And then I led with maybe the game. And I talk about the things to some extent right now because I use them as examples, right? I use those things as examples of how a conqueror is supposed to move through them situations. Do you understand? I don't be stuck there. I'm not stuck on the game. I overcame the game. The game is too small. That part of the game, because I often say that the pimp game, you know, is not the entirety of the game. It's just a small portion of the game. So that I've conquered that. I never stopped there. Do you understand? I didn't stop, right? Because I had the mind of a conqueror. So if that was what I had to go through to take some information up out of that experience, that's what I did. I went through the game and took some information up out of that experience to adapt to my personality as a conqueror. Right? So now, okay, I got that. That's locked in. I know about women. I know about dudes out there, how to maneuver in a seedy environment of vices where everybody is in certain vices. Right? I conquered it. I got to the top of the lifestyle. Right? I know how to dealing with the feds and the system and having gone to trial, federal trial, and having caught a case before. And I know how to maneuver through that. Right? I know how to maneuver, and I came out on top. All these situations I always came out on top because I got the mind of a conqueror, right? And the way that I move allowed me to come out on top on each one of those, right? When they killed my brother, I knew that we as a people have not been successful dealing with law enforcement and dealing with policing, right? But I conquered them too. I conquered them, right? So everything that I'm doing in my life is a conquering. But a gangster, he don't got the mind to deal with that. A wealthy man don't have the mind to deal with that. I was in federal holding in Las Vegas with the DuPont registry, the heiress of the DuPont registry, a family. She was married to this man, but she was the heir to the wealth of the DuPont registry, right? So she had, I believe it was her son, right? And he was caught up on drugs and he was messing with this girl and they was blaming the girl for having him caught up on drugs and stuff. So I guess that her husband hired somebody to go kill the girl. And they found the girl in an AC dock in a motel in Las Vegas. And they traced it back somehow and they arrested him on a federal case. So I was in prison. I was in federal holding with him, right? He offered the government $10 million to get out of jail. The government probably looked at him and said, rich man, we print the money. Your money is no good over here. We don't care nothing about your little money. Right? We want your butt. We don't want your money. He didn't get out of that situation. Yet I went to federal trial, right? And overcame the whole situation. And now I'm on top. The mind of a conqueror, right? So there's certain things that I don't move like because it minimizes the mind of a conqueror. And like I say, it starts inside. It starts inside and then it begins to reverberate in every area of life. In your relationships, in your family, in your friendships, your surroundings, your environment, your community, it begins to reverberate through every area of your life, right? Just like the idea of a gangster, just like the idea of a wealthy man, right? It begins to bleed into every area of your life. I know what I'm talking about. You know, I did want to share some things with you guys that's kind of provocative. It's quite provocative what I'm going to say to you, right? But I'm going to say it, you know, because I think that I have enough established right now for a person to have to reconcile with what I'm about to say, right? I say it often in my classes, often, right? So I said at 16 years old, I had an appearance from God. This I know this is extremely provocative, what I'm going to say, but I've said it in many different instances, right? I actually had a dream and I had an appearance. It's different. It's not just a dream. When you have an appearance, and appearances are something that is extremely common. If you read through the text and the scriptures, you will see that there are many people that throughout history and biblical history, that there have been appearances that God had given certain people. The reason why this is going to sound provocative is because a lot of your concept of God is based on American idea. You think God is an American. You think God is an American. God is not an American. It's laughable. But because you've grown up into American culture, and America has taught you how to think, what to believe, what to value, what to hate. You have an indoctrinated mind and you look at everything according to how America is going to see things. Even your right and wrong. You look at right and wrong according to how America says right and wrong, right? If America hates something in you, you're going to hate something, right? If America loves something in you, you're going to love something, right? Because a lot of you think that God is an American. I'm here to tell you that the Most High is not an American, not even close. So when I'm saying to you, when God appeared to me, you might put him in that box of that little American idea of what God is. And what you will do is you will discount all of the evidence that's in the history book of the Bible. That history book, you'll discount that, right? Because you will see something there. And then you will take on that American consciousness and identity, and it won't allow you to get the fullness out of what you read yourself. Right? Do you know in the Bible and Genesis, I'm going to get to what I was going to say, but I just want to throw this out there and give you a little curveball. Do you know that the Bible talks about that there were other beings? They said the sons of God. There were aliens. Is what they were, right? That's what we would categorize them at. If you read Genesis 6, you will see that these quote unquote aliens saw how beautiful human women were, took as many of human women as they could, right? Had sex with them and produced an offspring. Yeah. The Nephilim, right? So if you could believe that could happen and that there were giants in the land, and then there is history that says that they were actual giants that existed on earth before, right? Well, I want to throw that out there because I want to begin to shake up that American idea you have of what God may be, right? That's really important because that's going to limit you, right, from having a full experience and an understanding of who the Most High is. You won't be able to see because that American identity in you will block the truth. It'll block it, right? So if you believe that, if you've read that, if you've been to all your little churches and all that kind of stuff, and maybe they've covered that, right? So you believe that actual aliens came down, right, and had sex with human women, and that's how these giants were created. Right? And they say the reason why God brought a flood on the earth, right, is because these giants were ravenous, uncontrollable, and they were killing off as many humans as they possibly can. Right? And they're saying that who these aliens were the Anunnaki. Right? Because see, what happened is you will get so structured and brought into a structured mind of an American identity of what you think God is that information that's been historical and people have been talking about things forever, you won't even accept it. But that's why I took you down to Genesis to ask if you accept that. Do you accept what's in the scriptures? Right? Do you accept that there were giants that were created from aliens and human women? Because that's exactly what it said. right? He didn't say aliens. They said the sons of God. But obviously these sons of God weren't human because they produced an offspring that wasn't just human, right? So I just want to throw that monkey wrench in your mind, right? So when I'm telling you that God appeared to me when I was 16 years old, right? I need you to take that perspective in light of you believing that aliens came down and had sex with human women. If you can believe that, God appearing to me should be nothing to you. It should be nothing to you, right? So God did appear to me, right? And he told me, I'll be the only one on your right hand. Everyone else will be on your left. This is what he told me, the first thing that he ever said. And I've had many appearances since then. Let me give you some of the other things that he told me that I still don't understand to this day. All right? Because somebody could be looking at this and can't nobody tell you God done said something or God done appeared to them if they don't have anything new to bring to the equation. That's a telltale sign, right? If somebody's saying that God has spoken to them, right, but they keep talking about things that everybody else has been talking about, I would question it, right? I would question it. Now, these two things that I'm going to share with you, I'm sure that as time goes on, he will give me more information about, but he hasn't. And it's been many, many years since he has showed or told me these things. The first thing that God told me is that there was another world behind our galaxy. He didn't give me no more. He just said that. He said there was another world behind our galaxy. Now, of course, I'm going to try to research things, but you can't even see behind our galaxy, right? The thickness, you can't even see through it. It's so thick. And then when you think about how big our galaxy is, it's like to even get past our galaxy, I don't know if it's like 100 million years, something just really crazy, right? I remember looking up, I don't have the numbers specifically, I wrote them down, but it was something so outlandish, right? So that was one thing. And then he told me something else. He said it was his voice in the dream. I didn't see him, but I knew it was him, right? Because there were other things that he said to me also, right? And I'm gonna give you some proof on one of those things. But this is something else that he shared with me. He said that I've never heard this term before to this day, even from when he first told me decades ago, right? I still haven't heard nobody say anything about it. He said there are 9 napo pointers. This is what he called it. Napo, like the nape, the brain, the nape, napo pointers in the brain. That's what he told me. There are 9 napo pointers. That's the word he gave me. Napo pointers in the brain. And I've talked to my class about this, just periodically saying, I don't know what it means. But obviously I will, right? So this is the evidence. In 1999, I was in federal holding in Las Vegas. And the Lord spoke to me while I was there in a dream. And he told me, and what I did, well, I'm going to tell you what he told me. He said, in 20 years from now, at Christmas time, I will cause a star to fall from heaven unto the waters on the earth. He said there will be fire everywhere. He said men will want to flee from the fire on the earth to the water. He said, but the fire in the water will be hotter than the fire on the land. Right? So what I decided to do is write a book. I call that book The Road to Paradise. I wrote it while I was in prison. And when I got out of prison in 2001, I finished it up in like 2004, and I got it published in 2005. And I put what God told me in the dream in the book, right? And I was like, people gonna think you crazy and everything. I said, I don't care. I know what he told me, and I know the time frame that he told me that this will happen, right? So it was 1999. He said in 20 years from now at Christmas time, this is when this will happen. So all these years, I would be going through, and then I would be online looking to see if anybody else had some kind of idea about what God had spoken to me about. And then years later, I seen this book of this white guy, and he called it 2019 The Judgment. And he was talking about something significant was going to happen in 2019, right? And so I looked it up, and I wrote the white guy, right? And I told him, you're onto something. I said, because God told me what was going to happen in detail, Christmas time 2019, right? So I've been told Dove all this, my wife, and so I'm thinking that this is going to be something literal, because sometimes God will speak to you. He won't give you the whole meaning of it, just like there are 9 Napole pointers in the brain, right? He didn't give me nothing else but just that. It's just, there's another world behind our galaxy. He didn't give me anything else, just that, right? So when he told me about 20 years from now at Christmas time, he left me into speculation of, is it going to be an actual star that falls from heaven? Is it going to be an actual star? Right? And so I did not know until it happened. What I did know is he said there will be fire everywhere. And I know that fire can be symbolic to judgment, to purifying, right? So that was something that was significant to me, because he said that when this thing happens, it will be everywhere, right? That was significant to me, right? So Dove and I just waited. So what happened 2019 at Christmas time? COVID happened 2019 at Christmas time. So people that had read now mind you, my book was published in 2005, right? So I was willing to put this in the book in 2005, knowing that something significant is going to happen, and it's going to be so significant that it's going to be everywhere. I didn't care what anybody thought about me. I didn't care if people thought I was crazy for putting this in the book. And who does he think he is? I didn't care about any of those things. I knew that the Most High had spoken to me, and I was confident enough to put it in the book years before the incident happened. Years. So people who had read my book, when COVID happened, the time that I said that this thing was supposed to happen, they would write me and stuff and say, man, Dre, you said this was going to happen, right? Now, he didn't tell me COVID, but he was letting me know that it was something that he was going to. Now, they put a virus in the COVID vaccine. See, what you don't understand is that it doesn't matter how this was done. God has always worked through people. God works through whatever he wants to work through. But what he wanted me to know is this is something that he confirmed, that he said was going to happen. I'm not looking at if somebody did that, if somebody did that. That's where that mind, that American mind comes in, right? Because that American mind will make you discount the spirit. It'll make you not see the spirit of the Most High. It'll make you blind, right? Because it's carnal and it's not spirit, right? So what I'm saying is that he told me that. I have the evidence that he told me that because I put it in the book. It'd be different if I was just telling you now and I didn't put it anywhere. If I didn't have a book to show you where my mind was, if I didn't have my book, The Road to Paradise, to show you how confident I was that he had spoke to me, then it'd be different. It'd be like, oh man, man, come on, man, that's cap. No, but what you gonna do about it? Yeah, what is anybody going to do about it? What is anybody going to say about it? Right? That's why I said in the beginning, that's something you have to reconcile. I don't have to reconcile that. You have to reconcile if I say God has spoken to me. And that is not, God has spoken to me about many things, right? One of the things that I teach in the class that God spoke to me about when I was young, I was about 18, 17, 18. He said this to me. He says, I have sprinkled you in my salt. Tell you just how he told it to me. I have sprinkled you in my salt, but I will surely bring you out, for everyone must be sprinkled in my salt. So when I woke up, I was like, what the heck? What? Because I would write things down, right? I didn't understand. I sprinkled you in my salt, but I will surely bring you out, for everyone must be sprinkled in my salt. I did not understand. I was 17, 18 years old. So I called a woman named Dolores Kendricks, who was a friend of mine, right? Who had helped me. She's a spiritual woman. And I told her that God appeared to me and spoke to me in my dream. And I told her what he said to me. She said, I know that was God. She said, many people don't know about the salt. She said, I want you to go read Ezekiel 16. Her name is Dolores Kendricks. She's still living to this day. She's about 80, probably 85 to this day. Right? She said, go read Ezekiel 16. Right? And so I went and read Ezekiel 16. And then I started doing my own research. Then I start reading the Old Testament because I wanted to understand about this salt that he said he had sprinkled me in. Like, what's the significance of this salt thing? Right? And what I found out through research is that in the Levitical law, that everything that was sacrificed to the Most High had to be salted. Every single thing had to be salted, whether it was the meat, whether it was the grain. It was called a covenant of salt, right? And then I found out that salt was used to make the meat durable, make it pure, to take all the impurities out of meat, right? To make it wholesome. So God was telling me there's some things inside of you that's causing you to naturally be against me because the way you think. And this salting process is going to purge the impurities out of the way you think, out of your concept of me, right? It's going to purge those impurities out. Do you understand? So this is what he was saying to me. I have sprinkled you in my salt. This is a process that's going to purify the American indoctrination of who I am out of you, so that you can understand me, so that you can feel me, so that you can see me for who I am, so that you can operate without being structured within the idea of right and wrong that America has sold you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this was a process, and that salting process, I never held the terms to. In other words, I didn't have the ability to tell him not to do it anymore, to stop, right? And the salting would be life circumstances that he would use, that I would go through, experiences and agonies and pains and all these different experiences that I would go through, right? And he was telling me the difference between what I have done with you is that everything that you're going through has purpose. It ain't just like somebody going through something and they don't understand, right? The fact that I told you about the salt makes you be able to deal with whatever the conditions that you're going through, because you're going through those situations with an understanding that I'm involved and that it has purpose, right? So every situation I was going through, it wasn't something that totally overwhelmed me, because I understood that this had purpose. It was doing something for me. Do you know what I'm saying? So that was another thing. And like I said, there's been many other things that he has told me. So somebody might say to me right now, but you was a pimp. Your mama was a hoe and your daddy was a pimp too. How do you reconcile that? Does God say pimping is okay? God's been speaking to you, but you was pimping, right? This is what I taught my class. And what I'm about to share with you, this stuff being in the class, but I'm going to share this with you, right? I believe that African Americans are the true descendants of Abraham. I believe it unequivocally. I believe it so much that I would never diminish myself to try to convince somebody that we're something that we are. Hear what I'm saying. I believe it so much that I believe that me trying to convince the white Jews or the white man or whoever that this is who we are is diminishing. I think that's beneath us, right? It's beneath me. I'll never be in a back and forth with a quote unquote Jewish man about identity because I already know that's up to him. I don't have to do anything about that. You're going to see these receipts, right? You're going to see a man that was born from a pimp and a prostitute that the Most High elevated to the ranks where the president himself had to contact me, right? And you're going to have to reconcile, how did that happen? How did God bring a man from the gutters, from a pimp and a prostitute, raise him up with information and knowledge, allow him to go through a system and defeat a system that has been devouring us and defeating us for hundreds of years? How did he conquer them? Right? See, the Most High will leave the receipts there. They got to reconcile with all that. I don't got to reconcile with it. They do. Do you understand? So this is what I tell my class. And when I say this, it be so provocative because I know it shocks them, right? It did in the beginning, but now it doesn't. I said, when God spoke to Abraham in Genesis 15, and he told Abraham that your descendants will be taken to a foreign country that's not their own and be enslaved there for 400 years. Right? I said to my class, you know, I would have preferred if the Lord would have told Abraham that they would have been pimps and hoes and drug dealers there. I would have preferred that God would have told Abraham, your descendants are going to be taken to a foreign country that's not their own and be pimps and hoes and drug dealers there. Not enslaved. Because on a scale of 1 to 10, there is nothing graver than being enslaved. They could do anything they want to do to you. They can rape your children. They can rape your men and rape your women. And they did do everything that they wanted to do to us. It was the worst case scenario for any human. Chattel slavery was something introduced into the world, the worst that could have ever happened. I would have preferred God told Abraham that they would be some pimps and hoes and drug dealers there, not enslaved there. I would have preferred that we would have just been that. But he said the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is that your descendants will be enslaved there. That's a 12. That's a 12. So when I talk to my class and they say, but people say that you was a pimp. I say, class, that's how they see it. But I don't see it like that. I see myself as a descendant. I don't see myself like them people see me. I don't see none of us like them people see us. I see myself as a descendant. Do you understand that? So if you keep identifying yourself without understanding the thousands of years that got you here. I always tell my class we're thousands of years in the making. Thousands of years ago, he told Abraham the conditions that our people would be in right now today. I don't identify myself as a slave, a pimp, a dope boy, a hustler. No, I identify myself as a descendant. And as a descendant, I could raise and rise up out of any vice, whatever the vice is, because the worst vice was slavery. Do you understand? The worst one was slavery. So when people are saying, you used to be a pimp and that don't affect me. The worst case our people is in chattel slavery. I told you from the gate, I would have preferred, God said, that your descendants will be pimps and hoes and drug dealers there, not slaves. I would have preferred that. Do you understand? So when I say that we are the true descendants, right? I say it as a matter of factly. Why do you think God appeared to me? When God's word come into the world, it's coming to shift and change things. That's what it's coming for. And it doesn't matter what America thinks. Do you, let me say this, do you actually think that the Most High is going to come on the scene and seek validation from the American government? With all the cruelty and evil that they've done, you think God is waiting around for America to validate him? Nah, I look just like God. I look just like God. Somebody said, what the hell are you saying? I'm saying this is exactly how God would do it. To humble American government. He would take somebody from the gutter. The scripture even says it in Corinthians. I've chosen the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. The things that are low, the things that are rejected, the things that are despised, to conquer the things that are high and mighty. That's what he said. Why? Why? Because the Most High understood the condition that his people were going to be in. So if he knew the condition that we were going to be in, don't you think that he would send the proper antidote? So when I'm talking to my people, right? I'm not seeing a dope boy. I'm not seeing a pimp. I'm not seeing a hoe. I'm not seeing a slave. I'm simply seeing a descendant. That's all. And when they come to class, I remind them and teach them who they are. Right? And I tell them the power that we possess is what's been given to us, and can't nobody change it and stop it. I've been talking this talk. I'm not worried about the American government, because the remnant is on the scene now. I have the word of the Most High God, and there's nothing and nobody that could stop what's coming. Nothing. And the beautiful thing of it is that I'm a peaceful man. Why am I a peaceful man? When I was doing police accountability, some of the brothers, they was riled up. We need to get guns. We need to do this. I said, yeah, you need to go ahead and be somewhere, bro. I don't need to help my God doing nothing, right? I don't need to utilize the weaponry of the enemy to submit the enemy. I got the power of the Most High God. And see, you don't understand that. That don't make you feel like it makes me feel, because you looking at God like a stranger would look at him, like a Christian would look at him. So your understanding of God is minimized. You got him in this structured little box. You walk around feeling like the bad guy all the time. You walk around feeling like the weak person all the time. There ain't nobody in the remnant that walk around like that. Everybody in the remnant is empowered, because everybody in the remnant understands who we are, right? Let me say this one thing, and I've said this before. The difference, and there's a major difference, because Christianity is a religion. I don't teach religion. I teach culture. We don't teach religion. I'm not teaching you how to have no religion. I'm teaching you how to get back your culture. That we're connected to thousands of years. We didn't just pop up out the scene with no religion. No, we're connected to thousands of years. And see, it's easier for them to hear what I'm saying in class because I got the receipts, right? Because I can sit here and say, and all the things that I'm teaching you is how I did what I did. You can go. The Most High made sure that it was visible. He made sure that it was televised. He made sure that American Pimp was televised, so that you could see me, an American Pimp, facing a life sentence unfaded. in me saying that if they thought that they was going to strip me from being the man that I am, then they badly mistaken. It wasn't because I thought I was a tough guy. It was because God had appeared to me. And I knew that this was just a season. And whatever I needed to get up out of this season, I was going to get and then transfer to the next place. And the very thing that people try to judge me of is the very thing why I got identity with my people. Because I can go into the trenches. I can go into those deep trenches where churches think darkness. It's all dark over there. It's dark in the streets. It's dark in them ghettos. It is light to me because I've been there. Do you understand how the Most High will use your cursing and turn to a blessing? Everything that churches and all these religious folks think is dark, I see light. All I see is a bunch of descendants over there that just need to identify with who they are. And because I've been there, I can go right up in there. What's up with him? You feel me? So this is how I explain it. I said, my son is Kylan. I love him. I love my son, right? I said, my son has a friend. I love my son's friend through my son, right? I said, but if my son has a problem, my son will run to me with confidence. Unequivocally, he knows that if it's in my power, I'm about to be right there, do everything in my power to make sure my son is okay, right? But if my son's friend has a problem, he got trepidation when he come to me. He don't got the relationship between my son, like my son and I. He's a stranger, right? So Christians have taught you was a Gentile. They taught you that you was in the world without God, right? And that's why when you come to God, you come with trepidation like my friend, like my son's friend come to me. That's why the church is always telling you to have faith. And yes, faith has its place. It's very important. But let me turn a corner on you. My son don't got to have faith. When there's a problem, my son don't got to have faith. My son comes to me because he knows. Why? Because faith is embedded in our relationship. It's nothing that I got to put on separate as a stranger would have to put on to come and ask for help. And that's how churches got you guys out there. That's exactly how they got you out there. Faith is embedded in the relationship. My son comes with boldness because he knows it's embedded in our relationship. And they got you guys over there having to put on something with trepidation because you really don't know. Like my son's friend really don't know. We teach culture, not religion. Getting back your culture, how you thought, your identity, how you moved. Been in this country 400 or so years. Yes, and I believe a lot of our brothers were here before. But the scripture talks about the northern tribe being displaced before the southern tribe. You guys got to go do the homework or get into class and you understand what I'm saying. So sure, the northern tribe passed through the Americas. That's why they were saying when Columbus came, he was talking to black folks speaking Hebrew. Because that was the northern tribe that was displaced before the southern tribe. So yes, our people was here. Right? And then the southern tribe, that's the ones that will be taken on ships into slavery. According to Deuteronomy 28. That's the southern tribe. That's the tribe of Judah. Do you understand? So yeah, I'm not discounting. I know our people was here. But I'm talking about the tribe of Judah. Because everything starts from the tribe of Judah. When the tribe of Judah recognizes, then everything else recognizes. Right? And so there's a lot of people that might say, well, what about the Moors? And what about this? And what about that? Bruh, I don't care what you're saying about any of that. What I will say is that did God appear to any of them? And what evidence do they got? Do they have a prophecy that they said was going to happen decades before? Do they have some new information that they can spurge to you? You can't be. Let me tell you something. This white system has been tremendously great as far as conquering this white empire. You can't beat them. How many people and their gods and their ideas, their religion and their structure and their culture have these white people come and just devoured everything? Right? One brother was talking to me about some African tribes and how they operate and all that. I said, that's beautiful, bro. That's beautiful. But, bro, I'm not on that, because these white folks done came to all them tribes and conquered all of them. All right? They done been conquering everybody. We need the power of the Most High. We need the word of the Most High. Right? And so you see the confidence I have because I know the word of the Lord has come to me. Right? And I know some of the future. I know some of the future. I know it. I don't care what you think about me. Just sit back and watch. Because you still got to rectify within yourself, how was I able to do all the things that I've done? I ain't talking about in the streets. I'm talking about politically. When I didn't know nothing about politics, didn't need to know. All I needed to know is that the Most High had appeared to me. And he'll do what's necessary. But what's necessary, Dre? He'll bring them all underneath my feet. You ain't gonna hear no churches talking the way I talk. They don't got the authority to talk the way that I talk. No preachers or whoever. They scared of this system. They scared of this system. And I understand why. You got a right to be. You need to shut your mouth. Don't you say nothing. Don't you put yourself in no predicament against this system. They will crush you. They will neutralize you, just like they did with COINTELPRO. Every black movement, from the Nation of Islam to the Black Panthers to everybody, was neutralized by this system. You don't sit up here talking and you ain't got no weight behind you. You better shut your mouth and line up. But I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them. You better know, you better really know something before you put yourself in a predicament or a position where you speak in the way that I speak. I am declaring there is nothing that will get in my way. God allowed me to go through 40 years of all the adversities, from physical adversities to prison to the streets to being born in a worse off situation. He's allowed me to go through all of that so that I can have 40 years of evidence. So when I'm talking to somebody and they get to telling me what their problems are, I'm going to be able to tell them, bruh, been there. And this information will make you conquer that, because I'm teaching you to be a conqueror. Bid on kidney failure. God allowed it to be so. He didn't do that for me. He did that for the people. Everything I went through was for the people to believe. Have nobody before you. They ain't faced nothing. They ain't gone through nothing. People around here trying to be squeaky clean. I need my leaders with a lot of dirt on them. And I'm not talking about dirt once they get into the position of leadership. I'm talking about working up to leadership. Working up to it. What have you faced? Have you been knocked off the left and the right? Have you had to face your own demons? Have you had to wrestle in the mud? And now have you come out pure? Have you come out ready to lead your people? Can they kick the tires? Open up the hood, check the engine. Yes, my life is an open book. Yes, they can. And one thing you can see about me, because of that appearance at 16 years old, is you can look from the streets in American Pimp, and you can look all the way to right now. And one thing you can declare is I've never changed one time. I've never changed one time. There has been nobody in this country, that's us, that have the consistency that I have had. And God is so good that he made sure it was filmed. Right? You saw American Pimp. They seen the police accountability stuff all over. Interviewed by some of the top platforms, The New Yorker, been on all the TV shows, Fox News, wherever. because God wanted you to know. They don't hold the terms to your life. He does. And he wanted to use me as an example. I'm going to give you Andre as an example. I'm going to give you somebody that come from nothing. And I'm going to elevate him and show you how he can conquer this system. And this is just the beginning. Now, no one has been as consistent as me. And I'm only telling you why. Simply because of the appearance of the Most High to me. And I say it, and I'll say it firmly. I'll say it to this government. I'll say it to anybody. Don't try to get in the way. You want to see if God is real? Okay. Okay. You think I got 40 years in this thing and I'm just waking up or something? You think I don't understand how powerful the government is? You don't know I know they've killed people, put up nations, take down nations. You don't know I know COINTELPRO. They done killed and they done made lies and all the stuff they done did. You don't think I know? Like I'm over here unaware of how powerful they are? I know exactly how powerful they are. They just don't know how powerful my God is, but they about to figure it out. You don't think that they done analyzed everything about me? You don't think that they done looked at everything about me? You don't think? Of course they have. And they know I believe what I say. So when I come here to talk to my people, I talk to them about culture. I talk to them about prophecy. And I talk to them about timing. And simply, my brothers and my sisters, it's time. It's time. And we're raising conquerors. I often ask people, what are you here for? What are you here for? And again, whatever you accept what you're here for, that's what your life will be. And every remnant member will tell you all the same. We are here to conquer. I just told you in the beginning, if you believe that aliens came down, they call them the Anunnaki, whatever, that they came down and had sex with human women. If you don't believe that, just discard the Bible. Because Christians read it as a religion. No, it's simply a history book of our culture, of our people. That's all it is. It's a history book. So when our people get into it, they get into it with the right mind. It's a history book of your culture, your people. Them is your people. I'm not telling you to try to prove anything to them people. But watch. Today, I want you just to continue to watch. And they're going to have to reconcile. Is God speaking to him? Did he speak to him? Okay, man. I just wanted to come break bread with you guys, man. Yes. What you say, Dove? Gifts and calling come without repenting? This is not for everybody. The scripture declares, our history book declares through prophecy that only a third of us is going to get it and 2/3 will not. So we're not having an expectation. We give conferences. As a matter of fact, I got a conference coming to LA July 13th and 14th. Let me put the information in here. www.theremnant.world. That is where you guys can go check the tickets out and get some more information. We're going around this country getting our people, getting the remnant. We was in Vegas last year, October. We just left Atlanta in March. We're going to LA on July 13th and 14th for a conference. We'll probably be headed down south or east after that, but we're going all over. We're going all over, right? Don't get stuck. A lot of times we tell people, and before I leave, let me just say this. A lot of times we tell people that you better off just staying at the mosque or staying at one of them churches or something, because over here in the remnant, there's an accountability. We build conquerors over here. So A part of the conquerors is how to be a man and what a man is and what a woman is and how he governs. And we strip and give this system back all their mind, all the stuff that they gave us, all the stuff that they made us believe is valuable. When you get your own culture back, that's one of the things that you give back first. You give them back theirs. Because when you begin to learn about your own culture, the beauty of your own culture, right? When you learn about it and when you understand it from that perspective, right? It grows and their culture devalues, right? It devalues. And so all the things that you're motivated about right now, you won't be motivated by no more. Because the center of our culture is the Most High in his ability to speak to us. It's not just God in heaven, like, oh God, we pray. No, that's not what our culture is about. Because if you read our history book, you will see that our culture has always been about the manifestations of the Most High in the earth for us. I like the Apocrypha where it talks about in the land of their captivity in Barak, in the land of their captivity, they will remember themselves. In the land of their captivities, they will remember themselves. Them white folks took that out of the Bible, but the oldest Bible, which is the Ethiopian Bible, has 88 books, and I think we got 66 books because white folks been tampering with stuff forever. Some of you guys, man, that's a white man's book. You are a fool. You are a fool. The oldest Bible is the Ethiopian Bible. Where do you think them white folks got it from? And they're getting to shave it down. You can't trust them. Don't you know they even made a slave Bible for you? Right? Where they took out all the things they didn't want you to know. And they only put in things in there to make you subjugated. They did it. Right now, it's over at the African American Museum over there in D.C. It's called the Slave Bible. Go look it up. Look what they did. That's what you're dealing with. That's what you're dealing with. That's what you're fighting so hard to hold on to. Them people. They seek to change times and seasons. Right? But the time of the Gentiles is ended. It's ended. And a lot of you will miss it. Unfortunate. But such is life. All right? I got to get ready for my class tonight on IG. Definitely that white Jesus part got to get away from that. Yeah. Well, you know, like I said, he's us. You know, they beat you down so hard you can't even see yourself to be something so special that you are the descendants, the true blood descendants of Abraham. You can't even see it. But once you get in class, you start understanding. I'm so confident because I know there's probably nobody in the earth that have heard that's gotten to appear from the Most High but myself. And like I said, I know the future. I know the future. Right? I don't know all of it. I know what pertains to me in my life. I've even seen my death. I've seen my death. I've seen it. I know the song that's going to be playing. I've seen the funeral. But most of all, I've seen that God told me that that I will write my own obituary. And it ain't no time soon. He told me that I will accomplish every single thing that I've set out to do. Every single thing. And we just getting started. I might got 40 years or something. I'm not worried about it. Can't nobody kill me. You can't kill me. Let me tell you something. I said God spoke to me, right? And he has appeared to me many a times. I know the government has a tendency to try to put things in operation through secret. You can't hide nothing from God. Anybody that tries to put something in operation, not only will you, but your whole family will perish. And it won't be by the hands of a man. You hear what I'm saying? You try to stop the purpose in the will of the Most High, that's exactly what's going to happen. And it won't be by the hands of a man. You try to institute anything to try to take my life, because it won't be you trying to take my life. It'll be you trying to be bigger than what God has said my life is for. It ain't about me. It's about the appearance of the Most High to me. That's what makes me different from them folks that you neutralize in COINTELPRO. You can't neutralize me. Now, you know I got to be a bad man talking the way I talk. No, I'm not talking no other kind of way. I must really know God appeared to me, don't I? For me to be that way? You guys got to reconcile. You can't say I'm crazy. Y'all been knowing I've been kicking this game and kicking forever. You can try to say it, but I must really know what I'm talking about, right? I come to get the remnant. Are you ready? You better get in class, man. We ain't like Christians. We ain't going to be on the corner trying to twist your arm to come be a part of what we doing. That ain't going to happen. The culture is elevated here. What's the culture? Our original culture. That's what's elevated. No man is elevated. I am not elevated. It is our culture that's elevated here. Everybody elevates our culture here. That's why everybody can come and everybody's humble, because we understand it's the value of our culture. How much more valuable it is that has been taken away from us for thousands of years, right? That has been taken away from us. And God is saying, now I give it back to you. And what I'm saying is all prophecy, all throughout those scriptures. It's all prophecy, right? All praises to the Most High. I want to give a shout out to a lot of my Israelite brothers out there, you know, in particularly Sakari. I mess with Sakari, my little brother out there. Alazar, he's with us, and his camp be with us as we go around this country getting our people back. Let me just say something to the camps out there. There's never been a time that men have all agreed about everything. One of the things I used to win police accountability was this thought process. I don't believe that I have to agree with somebody 100% of the time in order to build with them. Black people have a problem with that. You feel that you got to agree with somebody all the time. Do you agree with your mama all the time? Do you agree with your brother, your father, your best friend all the time? Cut it out. Don't let that be a problem that you can't build. Build where you can build. All these camps, I would like them to start coming together. But they are in disagreement. If I can give you any wisdom, I would say you do not have to agree with somebody 100% of the time in order for you to build with them. Sakari and the remnant don't agree on every single thing. I don't care. I love Sakari. I love my little brother. I'm standing with him. I ain't got to. What is that? I've been having friends all my life. I ain't agreed 100%. Are you serious? Stop it, black folks. Stop it. Right? Learn how to build. Right? I actually built a campaign, a political campaign. Actual political campaign. And I won. I am not guessing my way through this. I know what I'm doing. I've already done it. You're not talking to somebody who hasn't actually beat the system. I've done it. All praise to the Most High. I love you guys. All right? Hopefully some of you guys will get in class. My YouTube class is right on my bio. Click it, get involved. If there was any class I would suggest you be in, it would be that one, because it's twice a week. All right? Come to the conference. It's so beautiful. It's something... Because it's not something that you're used to. You're used to going to places where other black people are. I said you're used to going to places where other black people are. You're not used to going anywhere where descendants are. It's a different experience. It's a different experience when you go somewhere where descendants are. When you're in your right mind and when there's real pure love and value of each other. Where it's an inside-out game, not an outside-in game, and everybody is working to better themselves inside. All praises to the Most High. War. Yeah, that's an acronym for us. We are remnant. War. All praise to the Most High. One.